This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, here we are, October 19th, 2021, my second interview today. And of course, I am a co producer, one of many on 13 Fanboy, which is set to be released, not here, of course. Lord forbid it would come to Canada, but set to be released on the 22nd of October. And for those of us like myself that aren't going to see it in the big screen, we have a choice of streaming. I won't be seeing it streaming. I'll wait till the Blu-ray. And but nonetheless, I kind of took a stand recently and decided, you know what? There's too many people out there that don't necessarily get to share their voice or their experience with this film. And so I decided, to throw that out there. I had 5 people respond, and the first one on here tonight, I welcome Mr. John Hoey. How do you do, John?
Greg, I am very good, very good. I'm counting down the hours. We have 72 hours to release, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, well, gee, yeah, we are closing in on that. But
Yeah,
I gotta show this off.
that's not bad. I've got this one.
Oh yeah?
I'm not wearing it at the moment because I'm saving it for the premiere. I'm going over to London.
I've got a tote bag too that's got this on it as well.
Well, I can cap that off.
There you go.
I have 2 of them. Fine enough, one of the posters for it, the one with the number 13 and the faces.
Huh?
Do you know the poster with the number 13 with the faces superimposed on it?
I got this while Tom Matthews was still involved with it.
Yeah. I wish Tom would still be involved. He is absolutely amazing. He's one of the nicest
I
guys I've
know
ever met.
when I promoted this at Horrorama 2019, and outside Kane Hodder, Tom Matthews got the most attention on the shirt.
Yeah.
I said to Debbie Sue, you probably should have him in this. Do something, get him back.
There's a couple of the actors from the franchise I would have loved to have seen in it, who I've become friends with over the years. I would have loved to have seen Larry Zerner have a part in it.
You know what? I don't want to see Larry. I have a problem with Larry. I've invited him on my podcast several years ago, and I guess he doesn't like talk about the same thing over and over and over again. So he said, thanks, but I'll pass, which, is fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Then he gets involved with Hearts of Darkness, the making of the Final Friday, which I'm an associate producer on. So I reached out to him again. No, he read the message on Facebook, no response. Well, most recently, he was on somebody else's podcast.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Yes.
And don't get me wrong, a good podcast, a great podcast. I'm not damning the podcast. It's a great podcast. But I reached out again and said, would you like to do my show? Never heard back. So I sent him a private message. I said, I get the message. I said, I won't bother you again. And basically good riddance. Now, if I see him at a con, he will not get my business. 2 can play that game. He doesn't like talking about the same thing over and over again. Well, I'm going to save him from having to write the same name on a poster over and over and over again.
Yeah, I understand that completely. The reason I want to see him is just with the legacy of the mask, the first character to hold the hockey mask on screen.
This is all the legacy we need. Now, this is my favorite Jason.
CJ Graham? No.
Nope.
Kane Hodder. Yes, nope.
No,
I'm
the
blind.
best Jason, the best Jason.
Oh, now that is a contentious one.
No, there's only one best Jason.
Okay, who would you say it is?
Ted White.
Part 4, yeah. So I couldn't see the lighting properly. Yeah,
Yep.
I would love to have the opportunity to meet him. His portrayal of Jason was the most visceral and scary. Plus,
I
I've
love
read
Ted.
reports.
Yep. Yeah.
I have a signed Kane Hodder mask, which again they're hard to get in Ireland.
Yeah. He didn't punch
Um,
in the balls, did he? Because I
no,
heard.
I've heard stories of I would actually be slightly taller than Kane. Kane's billed at 6'5", but he's about 6'4.5". But don't tell me I said that.
Oh, I heard that he was like 4'4".
Yeah, I am the Irish when people talk about us being short.
Yeah. No, but all best to Larry Zerner, but he rubbed me the wrong way, and I just
Yeah,
had enough.
I
I
can
had
understand
enough.
that completely.
He's getting a lot of attention because he's a lawyer, and he's getting a lot of attention over the lawsuit, you know.
Yeah,
But
his
if you
business card was also in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey movie.
what's that?
His business card.
Yeah,
Have you watched the Harley Quinn movie?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's his business card that she uses, which I find quite funny.
I don't know, but it's like, you know what? You don't want to do my show, don't do my show.
Yeah,
I love Adam Marcus, but I almost
Adam
feel
is
I
gent.
almost feel ashamed that I'm part of Hearts of Darkness because of Larry Zerner. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah, I've been talking to Adam Marcus since before Secret Santa came out.
Hmm.
Absolutely love that movie.
I liked it more than Jason Goes to Hell. There's
Mm.
nothing to think about there. Secret Santa's a much better movie.
Oh yeah, I agree on that. But the one thing I will say to you is Creighton Duke is one of my favorite characters from the entire Friday the 13th franchise. No real backstory, but he just has this badass aura.
But again, I've interviewed 5 people from Secret Santa.
Mhm.
I've interviewed one from Jason Goes to Hell, Adam Marcus. I've had a couple people from that not get back
Yeah.
to me. One of them told me to private messenger. So I did twice, never heard
Hmm.
back. I don't have time for that. And it almost seems like I'm being looked down on because I'm not part of what the Hollywood elite or whatever it is. I don't have time for that. It's just like with Larry Zerner. If I'm not a famous enough person to talk to him, good. I'm not a famous enough person to ask for his autograph at a convention,
If
you know?
you forgot the key word yet,
What?
you're not a famous enough person yet.
I don't really want to be famous, you know? I love John Belushi, you know, I saw what it did to him.
Yeah, true.
I'm fine with this. I don't get paid to do this podcast. I'm an essential worker. I work as a cleaner. And now you said you were a telemarketer. We both
Well,
do our.
what I do is not really telemarketing. It's customer service. I work for a TV and broadband company.
Mhm. Well,
Um,
you got a better job than me then, because
yeah.
I'll tell you, I feel it a lot of nights I go home. But
My other half does care and community work here, so she's going right around people's houses and looking after the ill and elderly. So
oh, there you
what
go.
she does,
Yeah,
like I don't complain about being tired after day's work because I know what she goes through.
yeah. But no, I hated to have to come down on Larry Zerner, but I could do without him being in the next 13 fanboy. If they bring him in,
Yeah,
they bring him in. But he rubbed me the wrong way, and I don't like being rubbed the wrong way. I especially don't like it when people do other podcasts, but they decide I'm not good enough. But yeah, I'm the kind of people. I'm one of these people they want in their lineup at a con. I'm sorry, it works both ways.
It is. Like
Yep.
most of the people I've been lucky enough to speak with from the movies have been absolutely brilliant. Um, Todd Farmer, I spoke to him a few times. The writer Jason X.
I'm sure he's
One,
proud of that.
yeah. Let's pick this. When people talk about their kill lists, no matter how bad the movie is perceived, what's the first kill that people say is the best kill of the franchise? Liquid nitrogen.
I'll give it that. I saw
Plus,
Jason X in the theater, and you would think if you were standing outside the theater and didn't know what the movie was, you would swear we were watching a comedy.
yeah, this guy's screwed. Or yeah, but
Like
then you've got characters.
there's a difference between the comedy and the humor in Jason Lives and in Jason X. Jason Lives, at least you cared about the characters. You
You
didn't
did,
in Jason X. You know,
and you've built up the relationship with Tommy Jarvis over the three movies, even though it's a different actor each time.
mm-hmm.
You still want that little sob to.
Yep. Oh, I wish Tom Matthews was still in. I wish he was still in 13 Fanboy. He's
Might
out
be
and
safe. Might be
yeah,
safe for the sequel.
yeah, he dropped out and so did Adrian King, and so but
Now, Adrian
not
King, you understand her reasons though, with her having had the stalker issues.
yeah, but talk about your first involvement with 13 Fanboy. Were you there on set?
Unfortunately, no. I was planning to pay to have one of the kills on screen. And a few family things come up. I had a few funerals to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
I had a month, or I had a 12-month period where the most endangered species on the earth was a female member of my family. I lost my mom, my gran, and my sister all within 12 months.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was rough, but I planned on, bumping up my not subscription, that's a stupid word to put, my contribution to have a role to be killed on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I auditioned. Do you remember the time she was auditioning for people to have the speaking parts on it?
Mm-hmm.
I read a monologue from the sheriff from part 5.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've been involved in the background, like the marketing and sharing on Facebook, trying to get in touch with people to try and get the word out there. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
every day at work, I've actually been told off work for this because I'm speaking with customers who are calling to get their TV fixed or their broadband fixed. And the next thing I'm talking about is 13 Fanboy.
Yeah.
Um, it's a movie I've been. People have been waiting for Halloween Kills.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Halloween Kills and I'm trying to think of a polite way to put this. To me, what they were doing with Halloween Kills, they were trying to just overtake the number of kills. And that was it. There was no, it wasn't Michael Myers to me in that movie. Because Michael is more of a sneaky, stabby, bye bye, you didn't see me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this Michael was standing up and taking on multiple people at a time. That's not his character to me. Whereas in the Jason movies, it's established 3 paintballers. Here's a quick head swipe. Um, but anyway, for me, I've been waiting for this movie for the last few years. And the first time I heard of the concept, I was like, this needs to be seen.
Mm-hmm. I'll see it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Debbie Sue said it's not going to play in Canada, and I'm going to be in Toronto for Frightmare in the fall, so I'll promote it there.
yeah,
I'm not going to do streaming. My TV's set up to watch my Blu-rays. I don't watch television. I got my laptop, but like I said, I'll wait for the Blu-ray. Um, Personally, I prefer to see it on this big screen with an audience.
same.
Yep. So
I,
I
I will I will in this case stream it for the simple. I've been debating it because I've been desperate to see it for a long time. I have a nice big.
My supervisor, I just told her about, she was asking me about Halloween Kills tonight. And I told her about 13 Fanboy. I know people that are going to stream it. I'm just not going to see it that way. And it's my personal preference,
Of course.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about me giving spoilers. That's the only reason I want to watch the streaming, because I know that many people I've told about the movie who'll want to discuss it with me and discuss spoilers. And
you want me to tell you something? I
Yeah.
knew what was going to happen in Halloween Kills long before the movie played. I read the script online, and I listened to all the spoiler stuff online before I saw the movie. It didn't really affect my enjoyment. I just went and I saw it, and okay. I'll probably know all the spoilers to 13 Fanboy long before I see it, and who knows when I see it, I might not see it till next year, whenever the Blu-rays come out. So
I'll be in London in November, so I've booked flights and a hotel to go over and see it in person and meet Debbie for the first time. I spoke to her for a long time, but we've never actually met face to face. That's one of the bad things. But here, the horror convention scene is not the best in Ireland.
Oh,
there's one called Horrorthon, which is normally held around November time. Adam Marcus was over a couple of years ago promoting Secret Santa. I had tickets to go to it. Unfortunately, that was something I had to postpone because of hospital appointments for family members. So I never had the chance to meet him. But whenever he's over there again, we're having a beer or 20.
Yeah. I didn't start doing the conventions till 2017 because I lived here my whole life and I never traveled. But Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 invited me to assist her. Yeah, I love that movie. She invited me to assist her at Horrorama in Toronto. And I could not say no to that. I mean, it's one thing to go, but then to get asked to sit at a table with somebody and make sure, they'll take pictures with them and their fans and stuff. That was pretty cool. And Lisa and I are friends to this day. In fact, I'm going to see her when I go down to Toronto next week, when I go down for Frightmare. She's not part of Frightmare, but I always see her when I go down there. So, but I got the bug, and I've been to 3 Horror-ramas, 1 Comic-Con, and I got Frightmare in the Falls coming up. So I'm going to go to that, and CJ Graham is going to be there.
I would love to meet him in person as well.
I'm going to wear this when I go, but I got another surprise when I go there too, because I'm good friends with Nancy McLaughlin.
Yes, and her and Tom are brilliant. I spoke with them both as well.
I'm going to put Nancy on speakerphone when I get up there and meet him.
So don't tell Debbie. Well, obviously she might see this, but anyway, I have a surprise for her. I have this going in my case when I go over to visit.
Look at that.
She might remember that. And I have a matching boiler suit as well. And like I said, I'm 6'5", so she might start having bad flashbacks.
I've interviewed 6 people from A New Beginning. Debbie Sue's been on here 4 times. I've had Tiffany Helm on here a couple times.
Yeah.
I had Melanie Kinnaman on here a couple times, and I love Melanie.
I was actually reading something she put on Facebook earlier today. There is a fan convention in Germany who have been advertising her as being there, but she's not going to be there. They're trying to con people using her as a star attraction.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She had it on Facebook today. Part 5 has always been my favorite Friday the 13th movie. I know it's not in most people's top 10.
I have a few issues with it. Melanie's not one, because I tell you, I could gaze at her all day. But I have some major issues with part 5. Part of it has to do with the fact that Danny Steinman is basically a porn director. He should not have
Yeah,
been making this movie.
yeah,
But another thing is, another reason he should not have been making this movie, there are things I would have done so much different
mhm,
with part 5. Number one, I would never linger on Roy. I mean, they could use Tommy as a red herring all they want. The
yeah. Are you
moment,
talking to me, Sheriff?
well, here's the thing: when they first show Joey's body, having him give a reaction, that's fine.
Mhm.
But when the guy says, come Roy, come get your hands dirty," and you see the pant leg walk into frame, very
Yeah,
ominous. And then they show him covering up the body and he looks up. I'm like, I'm sorry, that is pure bullshit. I hate things like that. And you're
yeah,
trying to make this out to be Tommy. And another problem, you're talking to me, Sheriff, again. You might as well just put a neon sign up to say
yeah.
Roy's a killer.
What
So
I liked about it was the you've got the mix of it. You've got the motivation of Pamela, the vengeance of a murdered child,
mhm.
mixed with the sheer brutality of Jason.
Yeah. And another thing too, how did he get down by the ambulance so quickly whenever they find the ambulance driver's neck slashed, and Melanie screaming, he's down there. I'm like, he got down there
Yeah,
awful quick. Stuff like that annoys the hell out of me. And I told Melanie about this, and Melanie even gets me on this. Again, another reason why Danny Steinman is like one of the worst directors of this franchise.
yeah,
You
I
got
would agree.
her, she runs out of the house. Roy's coming after, or we think it's Jason, I guess, coming
Mhm.
after her. She slips and falls into the mud. She's trying to get up. She's trying to get up. He's coming after her. And the scene goes wrong when he catches up to her. You get a shot of her screaming face, Roy raising the machete. Her screaming face, Roy raising the machete. Her screaming face. I'm going like this. Like any fucking time now.
Yeah, slow
Finally,
motion.
finally, Reggie bursts out the berm in the tractor.
Yeah,
But it's like, here, you want to know how I would have done the scene? I would have had one shot of her face, one shot of the machete go up, then bursts out
bang.
through.
Yeah, same. With
Yep,
the Roy, I would have made it less obvious he was a killer.
yep.
Um, he could have shown up in a few scenes without going, "Hi, it's me. Hi, you talking to me?"
Stuff like that annoyed me,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, I got nothing against John Shepard personally, but I think Tom Matthews was a massive improvement in part
Oh yeah,
6.
yeah. Now, I do have
Um,
to say, I like them beating the shit of the guy and pinning him through a table. That was a bit reminiscent of WrestleMania to me rather than Friday the 13th. But
yeah,
um,
yeah. So I've got part 5 here. Like I said, I've interviewed 6 of the people. I mentioned 3 of the girls.
mm,
I've interviewed Ron Sloan a couple times on here. I think Ron's a
he's one of the
wonderful
funniest men I
guy.
know. Yeah, he's one of the funniest men I've been proud to talk to.
I've had
Um,
Bob DeSimone on here, who was
yeah,
the
yes,
paramedic.
flurries up your nose. Yeah,
He's a great guy. A great
yeah,
guy. Yep. And I've had Corey Parker on here. He was the greaser singing the song.
yes. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tootie, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tootie.
And you know
Get the cup.
what?
Yeah,
A nice guy. Really nice guy. But one thing I've noticed about Ron Sloan with 13 Fanboy
yeah,
is he thinks outside the inner circle. Like I did a video recently. It was about 25 minutes, and I put it on Debbie Sue's Sheer Horse site. and I had my Ted White mask on, and I talked about how I got involved with 13 Fanboy and this and that. But I also took time out of the video to talk about people that aren't necessarily spoken of. I mentioned, for example, Carrie Yates. Had it not been for Carrie Yates, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing Zoom. I did 30 interviews last year, and then we went into lockdown. I did at the station. I had no idea how to continue my show. Nancy McLaughlin had said, if she can do Zoom, I can do Zoom. I tried to get hooked up with Zoom. My brother got me hooked up, but I couldn't get things working. Carrie Yates was online one night and said, do you want me to help you break you in Zoom? Carrie Yates was my first interview this year. I can't say enough good about Carrie Yates and the stuff she does for kids' cancer and this and that.
Yeah.
Yep. I spoke of people like Rob Mahoney and Jimmy Presley, who do a
Yeah.
lot of footwork for the film and hardly get recognized for it. You know, um,
Can I just say, I'd like to give a wee shout out to Jimmy, actually, just when you mention his name.
mm-hmm.
He's gone through some losses in the family recently, so I just want to let him know that we're thinking of him.
Jimmy Presley's a great guy. I was talking to him the other night. I called him, and yep, I like Jimmy. Troy Elke, I think, is probably one of the most. I'm going to say pound for pound, probably the most talented person in 13 Fanboy.
Yes,
his voice is in it. I think Troy, I don't know where he comes up with the stuff he does for his videos, but I think Troy is an undiscovered gem.
Yes. Now, you probably noticed I've been trying to keep my language completely PG-13, but
Mm-hmm.
Troy is a wonderful person, but he is as nutty as squirrel.
Oh, you can say shit. I don't care.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
yeah, there's a saying over here in Ireland that the guy
Mm-hmm.
is as nutty as squirrel shit, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah,
His
well, Troy's
videos,
great. Troy would
yeah,
agree with you. then, then we have Christopher Norris.
yes,
How
absolute
cool!
gentleman.
How cool is Christopher Norris? He doubled for Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Did you know that?
I didn't.
How
I
much
do
of a
know.
how much of a badass do you think he is now?
That I was in Game of Thrones, so
You were in
I was
Game
an
of
ex.
Thrones?
I was an extra in Game of Thrones for about 5 seconds. There was a scene that was shot in Carnlough, County Antrim, where I'm from.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so I'm not going to give spoilers if you haven't seen it. But there's a bit where somebody gets stabbed and falls into the water.
Mm-hmm.
You can see me in the background. Um, so I've been on TV twice. That was on purpose. The other time was complete accident. If you've ever watched Sons of Anarchy,
Oh yeah, I've met some people from Sons of Anarchy.
season 3, episode 7, and episode 8, Moor was the episode. They're actually going through my village and the motorbikes in it as well. And you can see me walking on top of a bridge. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah. So I got paid for one. I didn't get paid for the other. But the connection with myself and Game of Thrones is quite funny. One of my best mates as a child was actually married to one of the main actresses from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Now they're no longer married. They're no longer in speaking terms, and I'll not name names because, well, there's probably some NDAs or something between the two of them.
Yeah. No, I was trying to think. I lost my train of thought here. What I was talking about, because I was trying to bring you up on Internet Movie Database here. But nonetheless,
Yeah, yeah, IMDb page has not been updated properly. I need to get on that shit. But at the minute, I'm planning a wedding next June.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so throughout what has been happening in my life the last couple of years, I have been with an amazing woman, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, in my darkest days, she's my brightest light. I know that sounds cliche and sad as hell, but it's the truth. I know when I made it through the last couple of years without her.
Mm-hmm.
She's going with me to meet Debbie Sue.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait for that.
Here's my 13 fanboy.
Aw. What'd you call him?
Skittles.
Skittles. Oh.
Skittles is
I
like, you're exploiting me. You're
I don't have
exploiting me.
I don't have any of my animals here now because they're actually in bed with my other half. We have a parrot, a hamster, and three absolutely gorgeous golden cocker spaniels.
You hear that, Kitty? Do you like to see a parrot? Kitty says, all I want to see are the temptation bags. Shake the temptation bags. That's it.
Give me the treats.
Give me the
Give me the
treats.
treats.
Skittles is like, you're exploiting me.
So most of our character, our animals are named after TV show characters or horror movie characters.
Yeah.
So obviously Murphy was named after a character from Z Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse is named after Jesse Kimball from Jason Goes to Hell.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Willow is named after my childhood crush, the amazing Alison Hannigan from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, you mean American Pie?
Yes, Michelle Lovenstein, or Michelle Flaherty was her original name. I will never forget her in. Do you remember the episode where she was a vampire in Buffy the
Actually,
Vampire Slayer?
I don't watch television. My TV is just set up to watch my Blu-rays. I know Allison Hannigan and from American Pie. That's my yeah. That's pretty much the only thing I know her from. But
She was also in a movie called Date Movie, which was, remember all the scary movies and that, and
yep.
they made one called Date Movie, and honestly, it's an hour and a half I'll never get back.
Why?
Think about the worst parts of Scary Movie, right?
Uh-huh.
She was, don't get me wrong, Alison Hannigan was great and she was funny as anything, but the rest were just, why? It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. That honor goes to a horror movie. And I sat through this movie. But have you ever seen the movie The Bye Bye Man?
No, but I've definitely heard of it.
Yeah. The tagline from that movie is don't think it, don't say it. Let me also add, for the love of God, don't watch it. The short story it's based on was amazing. But this movie was the biggest steaming pile of
shit.
Yeah. This because I would watch Freddy's Dead 4 times in a row back to back
Oh,
before watching
really?
that again.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee, that's really pushing it.
Yeah. I despise Freddy. I would watch the one scene from Halloween Resurrection with Buster Rhymes.
Oh,
Trick
my
or treat
goodness.
on a loop.
So you're telling me you're not a fan?
100% definitely not a fan. And it is without a doubt the worst movie I've ever seen. I still have it on Blu-ray.
What, Bye Bye Man?
Yeah, it's more of a cautionary tale. If somebody pisses me off, I'll lend it to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's that bad a movie. But saying that,
yeah,
it does have some redeeming qualities.
like what?
It's short.
Oh,
that's it. That is it. I honestly felt relief. I would rather go through Colonoscopy by Freddy Krueger than watch it again.
Well, how did you get involved with 13 Fanboy? Like, how did you come to know about it, and how did you, like, when did you become involved?
So I was involved pretty much from early concept. One of the poster designs for the movie. I don't know if you have a collection of them there, do you?
Huh?
No. I don't know if you've got a collection of the designs for the posters. No.
No, just
So
just a tote bag and t-shirt.
there's one poster in particular that I was sort of behind the idea. It was actually put on print by Vanessa on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm probably murdering the pronunciation of the on the part, but it's the one with the number 13 with all the
Okay.
faces superimposed on it.
Yep.
So we were talking about ideas for posters. I was part of a chat group with Debbie Voorhees. I'm one of the mods of Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best groups on Facebook. I have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an idea I just come up with.
Awesome.
I applied to try and have a role in the movie, but again, didn't happen. But I saw on Debbie's group, and I just knew I had to be part of it. I knew I had to find a way to get my name associated with this movie. It's not that I want fame. It's just I love the concept.
With me, it was a little more detailed than that. You see, I've had her on the show 4 times, and I think it was the 3rd interview. She spoke of this movie, and she started rattling off the names that were going to be in it. And the moment she mentioned Tracy Savage, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm in."
Yeah,
She was one of my crushes growing up. So
she is still beautiful to this day.
yeah, I've had her on here a couple times, and yeah, Tracy knows I like her. But
Yeah,
no, uh, Tracy was the reason I got involved. I was like, okay, Tracy Savage is in this. I gotta dig the money out.
yeah. It was Deborah herself over. I had the biggest crush on her from Friday the 13th Part 5.
Oh yeah. For me,
But then,
part 5, it was Melanie Kinnaman. For me, that was my crush in that film. You see, I didn't watch these movies to see Jason. Because you see, I watched these movies because I think I had a favorite female in every one of them. But I'll tell you a little backstory for me. When I was a young teenager, like I was afraid of horror films growing up. Didn't want to watch blood and gore. I was afraid of horror films. And I got baited in by my cousins to watch Friday the 13th Part 2. And there was like
rest in peace,
3.
Steve Dash.
Yeah,
He,
I have Warrington Gillette on here, and that was interesting. But
less said the better.
I like Warrington, but I have questions.
Yeah.
And I tried to do the interview without being conflicting, but I know Steve Dash is not around to defend himself. I do know Cliff Grundy is around, and I know he'll say stuff that's counter, and maybe Amy Steele as well. But I like Warrington, but I'd say the same thing to him as I'd say to Tony Moran. Own your role. There's
Or
no
what do you call him? Dan Brown, not Dan Brown. The guy who's Jason, the very part of Part 6.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't claim to be Jason Part 6. He was there for the start of it, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
that one part is iconic, going through the window. Yeah, that claim that.
mm-hmm.
But he wasn't Jason. He was
Yeah.
Jace-ish.
But nonetheless, there's like 3 kills on screen, and my mom comes in and turns the television off when Kirsten Baker goes through the lake naked.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever seen a naked woman. So yeah, that I remember that.
I've always wanted to know, why is it that parents always walk in at that sort of moment when you're watching something? You could be watching anything and it's all blood and guts. No problem. As soon as a boob.
Yep. Yep. I at that time, I wasn't into girls. Like I said, I was a young teenager. I was into boy things,
Yeah.
but my cousins were older teenagers, and they were going through the whole hormone thing. And
Yeah.
yep.
I think with us,
So
though, once we start the hormones, we don't stop. There's no pause button on them.
yeah, now when I watch a Friday the 13th movie, it's just like I have a favorite female in every one, so
Hmm.
so Tracy Savage is my one for part 3, and Melanie Kinnaman's got part 5.
What about part 4? It has to be the twins.
Part 4 is a hard one because they're
Yes.
all gorgeous. But if I had to pick my favorite, I think it would be Kimberly Beck. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. She is so underrated. Everybody talks about Corey Feldman
Yeah.
killing Jason. I find it funny how people bypass what Trish Jarvis did in that movie.
Yeah.
She gave him a lot of battle damage.
She did, and if it wasn't for her, then Corey's character would have been, yeah.
One of
But what
my
happened to
all
Gordon?
What do I think happened to Gordon? I think
Yeah.
Gordon jumped out the window because I think animals have a sense about things.
Yeah.
I think Gordon got a sense that something was wrong, ran up this. I don't know why he didn't run out the door, but he ran up the stairs and out the window.
Yeah.
Some people speculate they think Jason threw him out. Well, it's going to be pretty hard for Jason to throw him out when he's down in the basement.
Yeah.
He didn't start teleporting till the 8th movie, I don't think. But
Yes, when he took out McCulloch.
I've had Peter Mark Richmond on the show twice before he passed away, and he's my favorite part of Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't like the movie a whole lot, but I like him in it.
There's some really good parts of the VC Dupree on the roof.
Yeah, but I liked Peter Mark as a professor. Like every time he's on screen,
Yeah.
he steals the moment, and he was such a gracious guy to talk to. Such a gracious guy. I think he was 93 when he passed away, but gracious guy.
Yeah,
Married
he
to
did
his
seem it.
married to his the same woman for over 60 years. I think 65 years. So you don't hear of that in the business anymore.
You don't. There's very, very few instances.
Yep. So gracious guy. But Kimberly Beck was involved in what I think is probably the best sequence for me in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And that is the scene where she goes out through the window. And I know it was a stunt double, but still. I love that scene where she's looking back and then she's looking at Jason. She's panicking. She's hyperventilating. She's got no choice. She'd much rather risk the window than go through Jason. That was how intimidating Ted White was playing
Yeah.
Jason.
A former was he not a Marine at one point? I know he was a stunt double for John Wayne as well.
John Wayne, Clark Gable, Lee
Yeah.
Marvin. He knew Marilyn Monroe before when she was Norma Jean. Yeah, I've had Ted White on here twice, and he was one of the finest guys I've interviewed. The stories he told.
Yeah,
But
I've read Crystal Lake Memories, or the book of it, and the way he looked after the people who was killing.
Yeah, but that scene where Trish Jarvis goes out the window, it's my favorite scene in the entire franchise because of what it is. She had a choice. She'd much rather risk the window than go through Jason. She thought,
Yeah,
what's the best chance of me saving my brother? Well, I'm going to have to chance this. I love that sequence.
I love that
Now,
her motivation is protection rather than revenge, which is
yep. And I love that when she was swinging the machete at him and got him between the fingers, and
yes,
like, I think Kimberly Beck to me, I put her right up there with Amy Steele. A lot of people say Amy Steele's the best final girl of the franchise. I won't deny that, sure. But I put Kimberly Beck as a close second. Yep.
I did love the most recent fan film. I've watched them all. I can't keep the name straight half the time. We got to see Amy Steele and Adrienne King together.
I hated that
Was
film.
I hated the film. I love seeing those two together.
Actually, I hate. Look, I like Adrienne King. She was my second interview on here. Here's the thing about Adrienne, and here's it's traumatic. She was stalked,
Yeah,
and as a result, it cost fans decades of seeing her.
yeah.
I don't blame her for shielding away after that experience. But here's the thing, once she got involved in the cons, she got a whole new thing going with the conventions. She's got a nice connection with the fans. She's loving it. I don't blame her. She's got the Crystal Lake Wines thing going for her. Nice creative process. Like Adrienne is enjoying the intention. Here's the problem, and this came up during my interview with her. Alice dies in part 2. And she says, so they say. She thinks it's a dream sequence. That shack in the woods, you see her corpse.
Yeah.
That is the bathrobe, and it's got a thing in the side of her head. I'm sorry. That is Alice.
And she had asked to be killed off because she was signed on for the sequel, but she'd asked to be,
But here's the problem. This is one of the things I hate about having any discussion online with some of these fans, because some of them can be absolute assholes. I had posted my thoughts, and somebody says, accused me of being angry. I wasn't angry. I think they were. Because somebody's obviously angry. He said, we haven't had a movie in so long, we'll take what we can get. So if you're at a restaurant and I decide to shit on your steak and I bring it out, can I say, well, we're out of steak sauce, but you'll take what we get. You take what you get.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Alice is gone.
She is.
And it's like Adrienne King is trying to retcon that. But I'm sorry, look closely. That is Alice's corpse in the shack with the sheriff and with Terry's body in there as well. It's there.
And you can even identify it in the video game if you've played it.
Yep. So
I don't know if you've played Friday the 13th, the game, but you can clearly see it's her in the game as well.
Yep. And I get it. She was stalked. I'm not in any way simplifying that. It was traumatic. But you want to know why Alice was killed? Because she had a fucking stalker.
Yeah.
You want to blame somebody? Blame the stalker.
Exactly.
Yep. So I hated having to argue about that with some idiot online, but when she showed up, and again, I'm all for seeing Adrienne King. I just don't want to see Adrienne King as Alice if Alice is gone.
They could introduce her as a family member because, familiar relations.
Well, here's the thing. This is an argument I made to that same person. When Vincent DeSante did Never Hike in the Snow. Yep, great movie. Great movie. Both of them are. You'll notice something. He brings in Tom Matthews. And he brings in Vinny Gastafaro.
Yeah.
You know why? Because their characters were still alive.
Yes.
You know how dumb it would look if you happen to see Sheriff Garris?
Unless he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but you get my point.
Yeah, exactly.
So these people, people can say, well, we'll take what we can get. Well, you know what? I'm not taking what I can get because I think I deserve better as a fan.
Yeah.
You want to utilize Adrienne King, write something really good, cast her in it, utilize her talent.
As a family member, not the character.
Not even Friday the 13th. Take her out of Friday the 13th and put her in something else. Why does Adrienne have to play Alice all the time? Let's see what else she can do. I mean, Crispin Glover made a career out of playing more than one. He didn't go on to play Jimbo and everything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Kevin Bacon isn't just Jack.
Yeah, but Kevin Bacon was boring in Friday the 13th. Let's face it. Crispin Glover was at least entertaining.
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen the dance to the actual proper tune rather than what was shown. It was AC/DC Back in Black, I think it was. Yeah.
I'd like to see a dance off between Crispin Glover and Tiffany Helm.
Tiffany Helm. Yes, I've had that image in my head.
Dance off.
Yes, that would be actually really badass.
They could have Saffron Henderson in the background with their guitar.
Yeah. Oh, JJ, what a character.
A lot of people want me to interview her. The problem is I can't find her, so. But
I'll dig. I've got people who know people's brothers.
Well, but nonetheless, that was my involvement with 13 Fanboy. Now you're just a backer. You're not in the film itself.
I'm not a backer. I'm a backer. I'm not the film itself. I wanted to be. I had.
Oh, I'm not looking down on it. I'm just trying to. Yeah.
But hey, at least my character's not dead in the first one, so I could be in a sequel. That's the dream.
You know what? You got your name on this movie.
Exactly.
You got your name on this movie. This is yours.
Yeah.
You know, Debbie Sue's the director and whatnot. Yep. But this is our movie. We helped make this happen.
It is.
That's pretty cool.
That's why I love it, because it's a movie about fans done by fans. But how cool is it that Debbie was a Voorhees before Jason was a Voorhees?
That is funny.
Little bit of trivia. Do you know the little kid in Jaws?
Mm-hmm.
And the one who gets killed by the shark?
Joey Voorhees, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get him on here too, so maybe eventually I might. but yeah.
So bucket list, right? You're allowed to choose one final podcast guest. Who would it be?
Anybody?
Anybody from the world of horror, obviously.
Emma Stone. She was in Zombieland, so it kind of counts.
She was. Was she not in? I think she's a couple of horror movies.
I don't know, but if I had my choice of, I want Emma Stone. I'd have to get a lot bigger than I am now to get her.
Yeah.
But
she's an amazing actress.
I love Emma Stone. I'll watch her in anything. One of my highlights this year at the theater was seeing Cruella. I loved her in it, you know? So, yeah.
I'm just glad she wasn't in Bye Bye Man, or else I'd have to disagree with you. But that's
yeah, but she was in Aloha though, and that was pretty shitty. And that's sad that was a Cameron Crowe movie, like a guy that made Almost Famous made Aloha.
But does it compare to Jack Black's character in I Still Know You Did Last Summer?
I don't remember that. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was pretty bad, though.
Remember the white guy with the dreadlocks?
No, I saw that movie once, and that's pretty much all I want to see it.
Oh, I've actually thought of a contender for worst movie ever. I tried to purge it from my memory. There was a third part to that called I'll Always Know You Did Last Summer.
You want me to tell you what the worst movie I ever saw was?
Yes, please.
It had good production values, but it pissed me off But put this way, when I left the theater, I wanted to punch out the director.
Okay.
And that movie was Pearl Harbor. I hated Pearl Harbor with an utter passion. Here's a
Mm,
movie that basically was Americans the good guys, Japan as the bad guys. There was no three-dimensional Japanese characters in the movie. It wasn't
no.
even about Pearl Harbor. It was about two dickheads fighting over a nurse. That's what it was. What
Yeah.
offended me the most, though, what offended me the most was there was a newspaper article about it, and the studios were trying to figure out how to market this movie to Japan. They decided to market it to them as a love story. Yeah, can you see what's wrong? And then I get people say to me, "What's so racist about Pearl Harbor?"
Just the
What do
start,
you
the middle,
think?
and the end. Just the
Yep,
start, the middle, and the end.
I thought it was
Yeah,
a racist movie. Yeah,
it's an abomination.
I hated that movie with another passion. I left the theater. I was pissed off.
Have you ever walked out of a theater?
I must have, but I can't remember. I do remember I didn't walk out, but I had to leave briefly when I saw Cloverfield.
Hmm.
Um, I had a hard time with the shaky camera. I was feeling sick. I had to go out. There was a bench out in the theater lobby. I had to go out and I had to sit there for like 5 minutes. I missed the
Yeah.
creature in that altogether.
I'm not a fan of found footage type film. The Blair Witch does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Uh, the I've never walked out of a theater myself, but one of the funniest stories I ever have about a cinema going experience involves half the theater walking out. So do you remember when movies were longer and they used to do intermissions?
Yeah.
So I was on a date with a girl
Hmm.
and we went to see Titanic.
Okay.
There was an intermission not long after the iceberg hit the boat. Half the theater thought the movie was over.
I wish the movie was over at that point.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I'm Irish, right? I was
Hmm.
cheering for the iceberg.
I'm going to be frank. Titanic is not as bad as Pearl Harbor. At least Titanic was well made,
Hmm.
but I thought Billy Zane was a complete overact in that movie. His character was absolute shit.
Hmm.
It was basically Romeo and Juliet on a boat. Here's my story with Titanic. Again, I consider Titanic a C movie. I consider Pearl Harbor a D movie, so that's a
Hmm.
big difference. But everybody hyping Titanic. Titanic does have his good points visually.
Yeah,
You know, James Cameron. Okay, he created. I mean, this is no Terminator. This is no Aliens, but I'll give him credit. Great production on Titanic.
yeah,
However, I saw Titanic on a double billing with Tomorrow Never Dies, James Bond movie with Pierce
yes.
Bronson.
Another Irishman.
I'm so glad I saw Tomorrow Never Dies last
Hmm.
because I had a hard time staying awake during Titanic.
Yeah.
I'd look around and people ripping out boxes of Kleenexes and whatnot, and I was like, just trying to. They were wiping their eyes because they were crying. I was wiping my eyes so I could stay awake. I was so
I,
glad when I got to Tomorrow Never Dies, and finally I boosted up in my seat and was able to enjoy a movie. You know.
I despise that movie with passion. Titanic. Again, it's not one of the worst movies ever, and I can forgive its flaws because of how much I love James Cameron's director from the Terminators. And a lot of people hate this movie, but I love Terminator Salvation.
Okay, I'm not gonna
I absolutely,
criticize you.
yeah. That's one thing. I can talk with people about movies all day, and people will talk to me about why this movie's rubbish, why this movie's crap, and
Well,
I will not argue back. What I'll do is I'll say my place. I'll agree with them. that you have a right to your own opinion, and that's what I love about the Friday the 13th community.
Well, here's the thing. There's a difference. Like at least Pearl Harbor had good production values, so I wouldn't give it an F. I would give Gigli an F.
Oh, don't even mention that piece of shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, there's one of my favorite films, which is not a horror, would be Good Will Hunting.
Oh, great movie.
Directed by Gus Van Sant, who made
and then he went
piece
on
of shit Psycho remake.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I can't forget about Leave Schreiber. Hold on. I was getting the one and that mixed up for a second. They're both terrible remakes, but Vince Vaughn is no Anthony Perkins.
I had Alfred Hitchcock's granddaughter on this podcast.
Right.
Yep. If you look at my 2016 playlist on YouTube, I had his granddaughter on. She was on set for The Bird. She wasn't in it, but she was on set. She was a great interview guest, and Hitchcock was really what got me into film criticism, because I attended my first midnight screening I ever attended was Psycho, and that was in winter of '96. And I remember, I think some university students were putting it on, and the tagline was, "Come and see the movie that scared your parents." So, and I loved it. And I've watched a lot of Hitchcock films since. That's how I gained a massive crush on Grace Kelly. Yes. I think Rear Window is my favorite Hitchcock film. But in addition to having his granddaughter on, I interviewed Marley Renfro Peterson, who is the woman who doubled for Janet Leigh in the shower scene.
The one that gets me, Hitchcock was a brilliant director, but he was apparently problematic to work with, according to Tippi Hedren.
Yeah. Well, most directors seem to be problematic to work with. I mean, just ask Shelley Duvall to talk about Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, yeah. What she went through in that movie was horrific. So I'm just grabbing a quick drink of coffee.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't all be Tommy Wiseau, you know.
The Room, that's all I'm saying.
He was my first guest. I'm actually kind of proud he was my first guest, but that movie, here's the difference. The Room is a horrible film, but the difference between The Room and Pearl Harbor and The Room and Gigli is The Room you can actually watch and enjoy because it's so bad. That's the difference.
Yes. Yeah. That's another one of my guilty pleasures is these so bad it's good movies. I love the Sharknado movies.
Yeah.
They're terrible. They're pieces of crap. But we know they're pieces of crap. And also you got Tara Reid.
American Pie again.
Yeah.
I suppose you like Birdemic as well.
Clownado wasn't bad either. Hi, Georgie. Sorry, that's probably infringement. But no, I love those.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
It's garbage day.
But those movies, they're bad, but they're fun, you know? They're fun to watch with people. I can't watch Pearl Harbor again or Gigli or, you know, I can't do it. From Justin to Kelly, like shit like that is.
Yeah. Okay, you've got a choice, right? 10 kicks in the balls or have to sit through Pearl Harbor.
I'll tell you what. I'll sit through Pearl Harbor if I could do the voices of every character in the movie.
That would be
because I
put on mute.
guarantee you it'll be a better movie by the time I get done with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And some of the actors are brilliant. Like Ben Affleck, people don't like him, but I watched back the stuff he done with Good Will Hunting. He was brilliant there.
He certainly wasn't brilliant in Gigli or Bounce or Pearl
Jersey
Harbor.
Girl.
I actually didn't mind Jersey Girl. Kevin
I
Smith,
liked
you know,
I liked it, but I didn't like it. Again, I'm glad J-Lo died in that movie. God
but
forgive me, because
what the fuck was Bounce? What are they gonna do, a sequel called Tide?
Surf's Up. Oh, wait, there is a movie called that. Uh, no, honestly though, I would rather eat Tide Pods than watch Bounce again.
Yeah, Bounce was pretty friggin' bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's so many bad movies out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apart from the Friday the 13th movies, and obviously 13th Fanboy, when I actually finally can get to see it, my favorite
Okay.
horror franchise is Final Destination. Apart from it,
I've only seen the first Final Destination. I didn't like that, and I can't really say I'm interested. They've all came here. I saw the first one, and that was
yeah,
ended it for me. And I just have no desire. Too many of these movies today, they have characters that line up just to kill them off. Look at the characters in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, versus the characters in the New Blood. Big difference. Where I mentioned the final chapter had my favorite scene in the franchise with Kimberly Beck going out the window. The New Blood had, in my opinion, the worst scene in the entire franchise. And I have to backtrack a little bit here. I wish they would go back to having a final girl.
rather than a final couple.
Well, it worked in Jason Lives, and it worked in Jason Goes to Hell because Tommy Jarvis and Stephen Freeman were not useless pricks. Sean Robertson and whoever Kevin Blair was in the movie,
Nick something.
Yep, they were useless. But put aside Sean Robertson, Nick to me is a big offender. Not Kevin Blair. I got nothing against Kevin Blair. Nick was a big offender to me.
But what about Rob from Part 4? He was worse.
No. Rob at least served a purpose. I'm going to tell you what my problem is with Nick. You'll notice, first off, what they should have done was have Lar Park Lincoln as telekinetic Tina be a final girl.
Yes.
You have a moment in that movie where Jason is about to tramp him into the back, and she saves him. He gets knocked out at least twice. But I'm going to tell you the worst scene in the entire franchise for me. And this scene makes it difficult for me to watch that fucking movie. And New Blood was the first one I saw in the theaters. And I thought this scene was so bad. They're on the dock after the house explodes. And they're hugging. And then finally, Lar Park Lincoln gets grabbed and tossed aside. Nick gets up, fires several rounds into Jason. What does Jason do? Bats the gun out of his hand and pushes him into a canoe. That was so fucking out of character for Jason. Hawes from Part 6 could have been so lucky. Because when he hits Jason on the back of the head with that shovel, does Jason push him into the coffin? No, he rams his fist through him.
Which is my favorite kill in the game.
He pushes Nick into the canoe because we're supposed to be, they're going to be together in the end. That worked for Jason Lives. It worked for Jason Goes to Hell.
It kind of worked in a way for Jason X because Sooner on was at least an entertaining
Jason
character.
X, I'll get to that shit show in a minute. Because that's my worst in the franchise is Jason X. Give me a moment and a few beers on that one. And you're talking to somebody who doesn't drink. I might have to watch that.
I'm Irish and I don't drink either.
But yeah, well, watching Jason Lives, you gotta need something. But
whoa! You said watching Jason Lives. Come on, take that one back.
No, I said Jason X.
I thought you said Jason Lives. I'm sorry. I was like, what?
If I said Jason Lives, then wrong thing. Jason X.
Jason Lives is for me top 3 of the franchise.
Yep. But going back to New Blood, that scene ruins that movie for me. He pushes him into the canoe. The writers couldn't think of anything better than that. And then you get Zombie Dad coming out. Don't get me started. You know what? Me tell you what would have been smart. The house explodes. End of movie. You could have an after credit sequence where Jason's hand busts out through the ruins of the house.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. You didn't need Zombie Dad. You didn't need Kevin Blair saved again, getting knocked out. I hate that scene. Does it look right to you when Jason goes like this and flat? Does that look right to you?
No, because I think he also had he did not have a machete at that point as well. He still had his weapon, so he could have just went.
Yeah, but still didn't have a weapon when he dealt with Haas either.
No, true.
Exactly.
But he was a weapon.
Here's the thing. Haas, for the little bit of time we saw him, was at least likable. I didn't find Nick likable. He was just, he was there for his cousin's birthday. No, he was there as a love interest. He was a prop written into the movie for no other reason.
Yeah.
I could not stand the character, and I couldn't stand the other characters in the movie either.
I hated Melissa, but because you're supposed to hate Melissa, at least she was doing her job. The guy talking about the revenge of the space mummy, the guy wanted to be a movie guy. Like, what the?
And even the kills were bad. I mean, the guy that the doper gets just stabbed, and then the guy that's spaced out, he just goes like this too, and I'm like, okay, I'm bored of the New Blood. I like Lara Park Lincoln, but this movie, but it's not the worst in the series. And Jason X takes the cake on that.
Jennifer Banco, sorry, I have to say, young Tina was a brilliant actress. Normally, a child actor can ruin a horror movie, but for the little bit you see of her,
she had help. She had other people ruining this movie, so she didn't have to.
Yeah. Jason X
is the worst one of the franchise. I've seen kids make things out of construction paper that were better than the special effects in this movie.
Yeah, I think it was was it not just done for a placeholder because they were going to lose the rights to Jason?
There was only one thing in this movie I liked. And that was Lisa Ryder as the robot. She was the only thing. I liked her.
I did have to say I like Adrienne, the one who got the liquid nitrogen kill.
I like the kill. The character had nothing to her. It had one of the best lines in the franchise, though. It describes the movie to a whole. This sucks in so many ways. That could be the timeline for the movie.
Although it's okay. He just wants his machete back.
Yeah. But in terms of the franchise, like I've seen half of this franchise in the theater. I saw the original at a midnight screening. I saw Jason Lives in Toronto in 2019 with a very active crowd. That was the best experience seeing one of these movies on the big screen was Jason Lives, because people just ate it right up. I saw the New Blood in the theater. I saw Jason X in the theater, regretted that fast. I saw Freddy versus Jason in the theater and come to realize Ronnie Yu was the wrong guy to direct that film.
He's a brilliant director. He was brilliant with Bride of Chucky, but he had no interest in either character, Freddy or Jason.
And I saw the reboot. Here's the problem. He saw the first Elm Street and he saw the first Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that might work with Elm Street. What's he going to get about Jason out of the original Friday the 13th? You might as well watch an episode of My Little Fucking Pony.
Or the Friday the 13th series, which is...
Look, I often tell people if they haven't seen a Friday the 13th film, there's two to go to. If you're not a big gore fan, you like things lighter, go with Jason Lives.
Yes.
Jason Lives, in my opinion, I think is the best of the franchise because I think it's the best written of the franchise. And a lot of it had to do with Tom McLaughlin's reference to other pop culture elements.
He was brilliant. And also the man behind the mask, the song with Alice Cooper just is perfect.
However, I think the final chapter is the scariest one of the franchise. But here's the thing. It's the scariest one in the franchise because of one thing. Ted White. And of course, the director had done The Prowler and he knew how to apply lighting. You had Tom Savini back. So I would like if Ronnie Yu had been smart, he would have watched one of those two movies.
So Ted White was for me the scariest Jason until the reboot. The reboot is wrong in a lot of ways, but I think Derek Mears as Jason.
Derek Mears was great. You want me to tell you how I look at the reboot? I don't look at the reboot as a reboot. I look at the reboot as another sequel. And I'll tell you why. First off, if Paramount had been solely the one behind it, I would have just used the flashback of part one where they're fighting on the beach.
Yeah.
And then maybe inserted something after that. And but here's the thing. It doesn't matter how Jason comes back. We're to the point we don't care. But here's something I noticed. I think the best parts of that movie were that first 20 minutes.
Yes, the ultimate sleeping bag kill.
Yep. Well, I loved it. I loved it when he's rushing at that girl and he's going with the swing and it cuts to credits. That was great. Now, one reason why I like to look at it as a sequel is the bridge between him going from Sackhead to Hockey Mask. He kills this guy who managed to move his hockey or his sack off his head. He goes to retrieve the sack and he sees the hockey mask. And it's like, and he kind of like goes like this, you know, like he recognizes something.
Yes.
I kind of look at this like if the hockey mask has been destroyed in the previous film, which no doubt, he's going to go back to Sackhead.
Good point.
And he goes and he finds a new hockey mask. That allows the reboot to be somewhat watchable for me, despite characters that are completely one-dimensional.
Trent. He actually is the same character from the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
It's the same actors. Travis Van Winkle, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
The most unlikable character in any of the movies. And let's not forget about the stupendous nipple placement line. Come on.
I don't know. I'll watch Trent over Nick again. At least Trent got killed off. Nick, I still him push him into the canoe. Yeah. You have to have them both together in the end.
What about the Nightmare on Elm Street remake? What did you think of it?
I didn't mind it. And I'll tell you why. I thought I can't think of his name from the Bad News Bears that played
Yeah,
the Haley guy.
Jackie Earl Haley,
Yes, I thought
Rorschach from Watchmen.
yeah, I didn't mind his performance.
Mhm.
He's not Robert England, but he gave it a shot. I love the pacing of the film. It tried. Now, is it as good as the original? No. I like Rooney Mara, but when I think of Rooney Mara, I think of the girl with the dragon tattoo. That
To
is Rooney
me,
Mara. Yeah.
to
I
me, she was the worst part of the remake because we know her quality as an actress. She's an Oscar winner, and she literally phoned that in. I think she delivered her lines when she was half asleep
well,
in real life.
she did that movie before she did an Oscar movie, but she'd been nominated twice, once for
Hmm.
Carol and once for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And for me, I think she was in Social Network as well in the opening
Hmm.
scene. I think Rooney Mara is wonderful. Maybe A Nightmare on Elm Street was not up the code for her. I
Hmm.
can see that, but I'm going to say she's wonderful in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
She is,
You know,
and she is like the book. You can actually, when you're reading the book, you can actually picture her.
yep, and the fact that they haven't followed that movie up,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. Why?
yep,
There's only three. There's only three books. I don't count the fourth book because it wasn't Stieg Larsson published it.
yeah. Well, they should have followed it up. I don't fucking get why. If David Fincher's not going to direct it, which is unfortunate because he's terrific, but
Yeah,
find
seven.
somebody else to
Classic.
do it. Find somebody else to do it. But I mean, I don't know. Because it would have been great if Fincher did all three.
Yeah,
But
I
now in
did think
room.
of one more. I did think of one more redeeming feature for Jason X. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
David Cronenberg's in it,
Oh, I love David Cronenberg. You have a
and
favorite
he
Cronenberg film?
The Fly. I did love Videodrome, but The Fly is an all-time classic.
I like so many of his movies. I love Scanners. I love Crash.
Yes,
I've
yes,
interviewed I've interviewed people from Scanners and Crash. Um, and I had the pleasure of Lynn Laurie on this year for Shivers.
great movie.
Um, yeah, The Brood. I like The Brood. So many. I love Cronenberg. Love Cronenberg. Existenz, Jennifer Jason Lee.
It, it's badly underrated, that movie. It is a brilliant concept. Again, it's
Mhm.
just one that was, I think, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah. So yeah, Jason X did have David Cronenberg in it. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing in it. Maybe to remind me it maybe this movie's got some tinsy wincy bits of quality
Yeah,
here and there.
he's friends with Todd Farmer apparently, which is why he done as a favorite to Todd.
Well, he should have done Todd Farmer a favor, bring him into one of his movies and leave the shitbag
Yeah.
uh, some somewhere else. But
All right, that's it. Endgame.
yeah, yeah. So with 13 Fanboy, what's your biggest expectation of the movie? What do you want out of this movie?
So, what I'm excited about is modern horror is relying far, far too much on CGI. CGI has its
No.
time. Yeah, that CGI has time and place, and the effects of this movie are largely done by a girl called Nora Hewitt,
Mm-hmm.
who is a student of Tom Savini.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, in a way, it's sort of come full circle. It's the next generation looking after the fans. So I want to see good practical effects. I want to see the faces I've known and loved, see them as themselves a little bit. And I just, I'd love to, I love the fact that for a change, I don't have a clue who the killer is at this point. It's probably Troy Oakley. You know him.
Troy Elke's voice is in it.
Yeah.
I know who the killer is. It's those two dogs that Debbie Voorhees has in those videos with
Oh,
her.
yes. Oh, they're beautiful dogs. Like I say, I'm
Yeah, they
I'm a
don't
big
fool
animal.
me. They don't fool me. They're the 13 fanboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that a fanboy can be anybody, because there are crazy obsessed fans out there.
I would love to see a follow-up done to this movie where it talks about fans getting even with rude celebrities.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think
I used to be a big fan of Jennifer Lawrence until she got so high on herself, and I won't do selfies with fans because I don't know who they are. But she'll flip out anytime there's a fucking celebrity around her.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some people who get really, like, one of the lead actresses of Game of Thrones, the one that was married to my friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, now I'm not just taking his word for it because I've met the person. She looks like you as if you're something she stepped on. Just so I can give you clues about who she is without naming her.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in the most recent Judge Dredd movie.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Very
And
good movie.
I
Very,
don't
very
watch
good.
I don't watch Game of Thrones either, so I have no idea
Ah,
who you're talking about.
she was in Terminator, the Sarah Connor
Oh, okay.
Chronicles.
I know who. Okay, you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, her, that part of the body.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Now she was brilliant in Game of Thrones because the character she plays is pretty much like a character in real life.
Yeah.
um, but it's actually funny thing about that. Two of the actors from Game of Thrones have actually played the same character.
You want some trivia?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you some trivia. What does Friday the 13th have in common with Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie?
Yes.
What do they have in common?
I don't know.
If you watch Mandy closely, there's a scene
Mm-hmm.
at the convenience store, and this was done deliberately by the director, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
When there's small talk, the Nicolas Cage wife says that they live just down blah 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 from in Crystal Lake.
I'll have to watch it again. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, and
Do you know?
it was done deliberately.
Do you know the connection between the WWE and Friday the 13th?
The fact that current WWE should be hacked to pieces.
I have a cousin who's in it, so I can't say much. I'm a relative of a wrestler called Sheamus.
Yeah, not a big
Yeah.
fan. Not a big fan.
No, Freddy Krueger's stunt double in Freddy versus Jason. If I think he's actually billed as his real name, which is Oscar Gutierrez Jr., Rey Mysterio.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you some wrestlers. You just hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're mentioning Sheamus and Rey Mysterio, and I'm just getting
Mm-hmm.
bored.
No,
No
okay.
offense.
Well, Sheamus is my cousin, so I can't really,
You're cooler than Sheamus.
thank you.
There you go. Take that to the bank. You're cooler than Sheamus.
Although he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows.
This is the greatest champion ever.
Bruno Sammartino.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a guy I have respect for. Not Triple H, who had to sleep his way to the top. This is a real champion. Let me see. Who else do I got in here? I've had this guy's son and daughter on the show.
Mhm.
And in fact, I'm still in touch with his daughter.
The hot rod, Roderick
Roddy
Coombs.
Piper.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I'm a bit of a geek. I know most wrestlers' real names as well. I just remember them.
Mm-hmm.
He was a legend.
Love Roddy Piper. Here's another one of my all-time favorites.
He is actually now part of AEW, Jake
Yep.
Roberts.
Yep, but Jake in his prime,
Yeah.
nobody did a DDT like Jake.
No. My favorite of all time only retired last year. King Kong Bundy. No,
Nope.
that George Steele.
George the Animal Steel.
Yeah. So I just looked wrong in the light. Brian, he was a mad man. My favorite.
Although I do have a Bundy.
Yes, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
So my favorite WWE wrestler of all time actually debuted in a match featuring King Kong Bundy.
Who's that?
Survivor Series 1990. I've always stumped, don't I?
It wasn't with King Kong Bundy. If you're talking about The Undertaker, the Undertaker's debut, Undertaker was with the $1 Million Man, the Honky Tonk Man, Greg Valentine, and they took on Dusty Rhodes, the Hart Foundation, and Coco Beware.
Why did I think King Kong Bundy was in that match? My head just went up my arse. I remember.
And we just lost this guy.
Yeah. He was a legend.
Paul Orndorff.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah. One guy I'm trying to find in here. Where is he? This is, to me, if I want to see a good wrestler, you see, I don't like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels spit on our flag. He stuck our flag up his nose. He blew his nose on it, rubbed it on his crotch. I've got no respect for Shawn Michaels. However, this guy is 10 times a better performer than Shawn will ever be. And I can watch this guy anytime.
Can't see that as properly. I do. See. Tito?
Nope.
No.
He's in one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time.
So it's not Superfly, it's... I can't even see that. It's probably my... Pass.
Are you kidding me?
No, I see it. So you say I know it. Oh no, it's he was up against Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 1. No, he wasn't. Who is it?
Piper and Orndorff were up against Hogan in WrestleMania 1.
Yeah. I'm blind. Who is it? Just
really?
My head is. Yeah.
Well, if I stick this guy up here with him, will you know who this is?
Oh yeah. Larry Poffo. Macho Man Randy Savage.
This is Randy Savage, yeah.
Yeah, awful.
This is not Lanny Poffo. Are you kidding me?
No, Randy Poffo was his real name.
Yeah.
Randy Savage. Larry Poffo was his brother, who was the Genius.
Yeah.
Why is my mind going blank?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not often I'm stumped on wrestling, but my mind has gone blank.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
I said Steamboat at the start too. Bloody hell. Richard Blood.
Well, I'm not gonna know. I know that, but still, I'm gonna know Steamboat. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr. Blood.
yeah,
Yeah, I got a Randy Savage in here. I like these because you can't break them. You know.
yeah. The modern toys are made of
Yep.
I have all of the current available NECA toys from Friday the 13th. Chic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put you in the
He is
camel
one of the
clutch and make you humble.
humble. He's one of the funniest guys on Twitter.
Oh, I bet. Here's another one of the greats. I think this guy is tremendous. And the, yeah,
Can't see it properly, sort of it's blurry.
I'll give you a hint.
Uh-huh.
Mick Foley learned everything he needed to know from this guy.
Captain Lee Albano. I'm joking. I
No,
know he. I'm talking about the beard and that.
actually, probably if it wasn't for this guy, you probably wouldn't have Mick Foley.
Yeah.
It's Terry Funk.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think of Terry Funk when I think of Terry Funk, I think of the old white man, old crazy man when he was Chainsaw Charlie up against New Age Outlaws.
Kidding me. I think of Terry Funk. I think of his battles against Sabu in a barbed wire match.
Yeah. So the problem he had
This
his
guy you probably won't know, but this guy was in and out. This is Outback Jack.
Jack. Yeah, I remember him. I do remember him. The problem is, see, over here in Ireland, WWE wasn't really broadcast as much. You had Wrestling Challenge and the pay-per-views, and then the Superstars.
Mm-hmm.
First time I ever went to wrestling, though, it was in 1994. Watched it live in the King's Hall in Belfast. I remember we were standing there, we were at the barrier. I had my hand out to tag. I know who that is. I'm just thinking, damn, I know who that is.
Yeah. Very popular in his day.
Yeah, it's not JYD. It's not
Yes, it
him.
is
It
JYD.
is. Yeah,
Yes,
he was
this is
class.
JYD, the
Yeah,
junkyard dog.
he was. He was class. No, we were at King's Hall in Belfast '94.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Andre Rusumov, Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Two of the greatest matches I seen him in were in the 1970s. Harley Race was one of the very first to slam him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Stan Hansen in Japan had some good battles with Andre.
Hansen was a mental man. I've went back and I watched a lot of old wrestling we couldn't watch over here. We didn't even get WCW at one point.
Now, sometimes places they make customs. I got a custom.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
This
Kurt
was a
Hennig.
custom. He was not part of LGN.
Yeah.
There's a place online you can get customs. And
I have to say, I think WWE treated his son like shit.
Of course they did. You know
He's
how many wrestlers that got kept back because of Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. I share a birthday with Hulk Hogan, the 11th of August. And that's the only thing I share with him. I want to have a nicer personality than him.
And in honor of AEW, they actually made this LGN, which I picked up. I thought was pretty cool.
Cody?
Yeah, Cody. They made a Cody LGN.
I
like these because you could throw these down a flight of stairs and you can't break them.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm delighted to see AEW actually doing well and be in competition with WWE.
I hope they kick WWE's ass because I think Vince McMahon has basically turned wrestling into a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, if there was no Vince McMahon, there would be no Undertaker, is the way I see it. And he was my favorite character ever.
I like Undertaker. I think they should have not ended the streak.
Agreed, but apparently that was Taker's idea. He wanted Brock Lesnar to always be the one to end it.
Well, here's what I do say. Okay, Brock ends a streak.
Mm-hmm.
Why have him lose to Roman Reigns? Because now the streak is just damaged.
Yeah.
I mean, the one loss, okay. If they were so desperate for Roman Reigns, then how about go to a draw?
Yes.
A draw.
I have to say, I don't know if you've watched the product recently. I love what they're doing with Roman's character now.
I don't watch it. It is so far bad. Like, the only thing I like the women's wrestling, I think Charlotte Flair is awesome, you know?
You would actually like Roman Reigns now because they've turned his character. They've flipped the switch. They realize they'll never get him over.
I don't think I would like Roman Reigns now because when I go on the computer, I watch old wrestling. I watch your Steamboat. I watch your that's what I watch. I don't watch any of this stuff. I don't like Shawn Michaels, what he did to our flag. I don't like Triple H. Triple H just kept a lot of people back and he basically slept his way to the top. I don't care what anybody says. I think you know how he got to the top. And Vince McMahon, as far as I'm concerned, is a steroid user, whether he wants to admit it or not. He can cut the bullshit and pose with a chain in front of a magazine. I think most people see right through him. But
now there's one thing I like about Triple H, and it's simple this. He knows how much of a piece of shit he was before.
Well,
what he tried to do with NXT.
Here's the problem. They brought in Sting and they had him lose to Triple H, which I thought Jim Cornette put it this way. They should have had Sting go over in that match.
Yes.
They could have had a whole year of selling merchandise on Sting, but because they're so fucking stupid, they didn't think of that. And they could have had what people wanted to see the following year, Sting versus Undertaker. But because Triple H and Vince McMahon have such a fucking ego problem.
Yeah, I 100% agree. They could have made millions off that. They could have had it going for a couple of years. And then they're like, hey, we beat WCW once, let's do it again.
Yeah, but you know what? I know how to bury Triple H. All I have to do is put him in the ring with any one of our military, and you'll see him job in a matter of 5 seconds.
Yeah, he is a piece of crap.
I don't like what wrestling is today at all.
Does that include AEW?
I don't really watch AEW. I listen to what Jim Cornette has to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm very much like Jim Cornette when it comes to wrestling. I liked wrestling back when you could believe it.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day when you had great feuds, like the Jimmy Snuka Roddy Piper feud. You believed it. You know, when Hulk Hogan and Paul Orndorff had their big feud, you believed it. Of course, you knew it was fixed, but you were able to get involved emotionally.
Yes.
When Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, they had you in the palm of their hand with their promos.
The Hard Times promo, best of all time.
Now, I mean, I think AJ Styles is a good technical wrestler, you know?
He's fantastic.
You know?
In AEW, there's guys you watch out for. There's a team called The Revival. They have the old school values.
I like Edge. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I like Edge. But I don't like this whole thing they're doing with I didn't like what they did with Bray Wyatt and who's that gorgeous girl, the Harley Quinn girl, Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. See Bray Wyatt. They let him go.
Yeah, they let him go because they're fucking stupid.
Do you know who designed that mask? The Fiend mask.
No.
We've talked about him several times tonight. The legend Tom Savini.
Oh,
He
wow.
designed Bray Wyatt's mask.
You see, I understand. I would have had him go over Randy Orton at WrestleMania. If I had him go over John Cena, have him go over Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You know, that made no sense. It's just
I do like Randy Orton. I do like him because I can see the way he is now. He tries to be like Jake Roberts with the sort of cold-bloodedness, the Viper. But at the same point,
yeah, but I think Jake was a better wrestler.
yeah, Jack could wrestle 9 out of 10 guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like wrestling what it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it funny we went from 13 fanboy to wrestling, but I will say this: I have had some wrestling personalities on here.
Mhm.
I did a tribute to Roddy Piper with Ariel and Colt.
Mhm.
I had Ariel Teal Piper on here for a solo.
Mhm.
And I've had her and Damos on here together this year on Zoom.
Mhm.
I've had Princess Victoria on here twice. And she's been retired since 1984 due to a neck injury. And you want to hear somebody who doesn't hold back? She doesn't hold back.
Have you seen what AEW have done recently? Just, I know you're Canadian. They are honoring somebody who is long overdue. I know it's largely the wife won't be anything.
Owen Hart, yeah.
Owen Hart, yeah. I remember watching that live. It was 1997, I think, Over the Edge.
I got the Princess Victoria book back here, actually. And I'm almost falling over here.
Princess Victoria.
Yep. She and Velvet McIntyre were two of my favorites. She and Velvet were tag team women champions. Velvet did something I only seen Ricky Steamboat do, hit a cross body and spin around in circles as she did it. But Princess Victoria did not hold back in the 2 interviews I did with her. I can tell you right now, she hates Vince McMahon, she hates the Fabulous Moolah, and she hates Hulk Hogan. And she gives details as to why.
Well, with Fabulous Moolah, we all know the stories are very similar to what has been alleged about. Used to be called Hugh Morris, Bill DeMott.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon, everyone knows what he was into, but no one will ever say it out loud because, well, the guy beat the FBI in a lawsuit. That shows you. And Hulk Hogan, as a kid, I loved him. I love the fact I shared a birthday with him, but then you find out what sort of person he actually is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, talking about the movies, going back.
Hulk Hogan did shitty ones. Yes, I know.
Suburban Commando, which featured The Undertaker.
Yeah, but Undertaker's. However, the other person I did an interview with was James Ellsworth. I had him on here.
The Chinless Wonder himself. He is funny as hell.
Yep. Well, he did a Doubtfire face challenge for suicide and depression awareness, which I thought was cool. So I had him on there. Tori Wilson did one as well. I love Tori Wilson.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah. But you want to see a good wrestling movie? And this is cheesy as hell, but I had the director on here twice.
If you say Ready to Rumble, I will jump out a window.
No, that was shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something good, but something cheesy. So bad it's good.
Okay.
Pro wrestlers versus zombies.
I have it ready to watch. It's on my list.
You've got Roddy Piper. You got Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You got Matt Hardy. You got Kurt Angle. You've got Shane Douglas. I mean, you friggin' got Kurt Angle does the ankle lock on a zombie, tears his foot off.
I need to watch this.
I've had the director Cody Knox on here twice.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Did you see? Did you see the new Olympic? Is it Gable Stevenson?
I don't know what that
He's
is.
he won the gold medal at the Olympic Games most recently.
I don't know. I don't follow that.
No, he's now signed for WWE. So they're basically saying that Kurt Angle's not the only gold medalist ever.
Yeah.
Um, one thing I like we were talking about earlier, the movies, and we're talking about the lawsuit and Larry Zerner and that. Do you think now that the case has somewhat been settled, that these two old people can get together and agree because of the money that Halloween kills and Halloween
Well, I've
making?
had Victor Miller on here 3 times, and I'm going
Mhm.
to tell you what he said. He wishes he had a made Airplane as opposed to Friday the 13th. And I agree with him because Airplane was a much better film than Friday the 13th.
Surely you can't be serious.
Yep, that's right. Um, here's the thing, I don't want them to retcon like they did with Halloween.
Mhm.
I think they should have kept Halloween 2 as part of the canon. I think that
Yeah.
was a mistake. But here's the thing. If they're going to retcon, and I like Jason Goes to Hell, but that and Jason X were both New Line. I think
Mhm.
Paramount should take the franchise back
After party.
and do part 9. Actually call it Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Because Jason Goes to Hell can enter in there anywhere. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you could do Friday the 13th part 9, and I do know that Tom McLaughlin has a script that he's all ready to do.
When winter, I want to see that.
Yep, yes. But I'll tell you the guy that should make a movie.
Mhm.
If they were smart, give it over to Vincent DeSante.
Hell yes.
Because he knows how to fill in all the plot holes.
And he's passionate about the franchise.
Yeah, I've interviewed him twice,
Mhm.
and he knows how to fill the plot holes. He's thought about stuff that you and I never even thought about. Like in part 8 at the beginning, when you see the boat coming docking, you see lights in the cabins up at the camp.
Mhm.
Something you just don't pay attention to. He does. And in his mind, he knows why you see lights. And he has
As
an
time
idea.
passed.
And he has an idea as to what he would do with that. I like how Vincent DeSante thinks.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
glad Debbie Sue Voorhees brought the Never Hike Alone people into this movie, because I think Never Hike Alone was better than most of the Friday the 13th franchise, to be honest.
I would 100% agree.
I mean, it's certainly
I,
better than Jason X. I mean, that can't be argued.
it can be, but by somebody who is a pathological liar. That's the way we can have the argument. If you're a
And
pathological liar.
and of course, you don't have Jason pushing people.
Mm.
I wanted to like part 7 so much, and the characters were bad, but just stuff that Jason did that Jason wouldn't do, like that. So,
But how does Crystal Lake connect to the ocean?
huh?
Part 8, how does Crystal Lake connect to the Atlantic Ocean? We'll never know the answer to that one. That's why part 8. Also, what the hell is with little boy Jason? They couldn't even keep the this is why part 8. Right,
Part 8 was bad. I won't
yeah,
deny that.
I love Kane Hodder. I love the look of Jason in that movie. But honestly, what drugs were the guys who made that movie on? Had they even watched the Friday the 13th before to know what Jason was supposed to look like?
Well, had
And
Paramount give them the budget, we could have got the movie we should have had. Jason in Manhattan.
yeah, no, I do love the scene again. It's a nod to this sort of comedy, funny. Kane's like at the big billboard. That was classic.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, I'm famous.
I do gotta ask though, have you been to any of the conventions? Because I mentioned I was to conventions. Have you been to any?
No, unfortunately, I was supposed to go to that horathon in Dublin where Adam Marcus was presenting Secret Santa.
Okay.
For the first, and well, family commitments, I couldn't go. They are going to be doing one this year. However, it clashes with 13 Fanboy London premiere. So, will I go to 13 Fanboy or will I go to Dublin? Let me think.
I don't know. I don't know when I'll see 13 Fanboy. I'll probably know all the spoilers before the movie happens.
Yeah.
But it's not going to affect the fact that I got my name as a co-producer. My picture is in a scene with Tracy Savage, which I'm happy about. Apparently,
you'd like to be in a scene with Tracy Savage, but of a love story.
Oh, I'm like I said, big crush. Yeah. I'll tell you, part 3, she should have been the final girl because she was. Tracy and I talked about this. Why was she written as pregnant and then it just like what became an afterthought?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been cool had she been a pregnant final girl?
Yes.
Especially since Chris Higgins was not likable.
I like to be in hit.
Huh?
I like to be in hit. That was about it.
Yeah, like I think poor Rick should have went with Mary Jo Conrad.
Yeah, and Richard Brooker was amazing as Jason, but I mean, what the hell was the whole creepy thing where he kidnapped her before? Like, that's not Jason.
Although Vincent DeSante even has a way of dealing with that. That is how good Vincent DeSante is with this franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could, knows. If you were responsible for the next Friday the 13th,
what would I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd sign Ronda Rousey to be the final girl.
Well, why not Charlotte Flair?
Oh, I love Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair is a good wrestler.
She is.
I love Charlotte Flair. Yeah.
For me, I would follow what they're doing in the Voorhees fan films to a degree. Not for is it Voorhees? No, it's not Voorhees. It's
well, there'd be none of this Alice still being alive bullshit, you know. It's
yeah.
You know, like come on.
The one I would do, it's not Voorhees, it's the one that's coming out now. There's a sequel, Vengeance. I would sort of follow on that track because we know Tommy survived. Right? I would bring him back and have the next generation, or just like he's grown up, he's had this trauma, same as Jimmy Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. I'd have it be the kids being the next generation.
Yeah, but you know what? They screwed that up with Vengeance because they brought these relatives of Ginny, Chris, and Hunter in there, and rather than utilize them, they were just tossed in there to be bodies.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the scene where Jenny's offspring or niece or whatever tries to Jason mother is talking to you, but I laughed because it was so laughable. It was overacted. It was pitiful, and it took me out of the movie.
It was, but if that was to be done properly, even with actors who bear a striking resemblance to the characters, like there was nothing, they looked nothing like who they were supposed to be like.
I don't know. Yeah, to me it didn't work for me, and like I've only seen 2 fan films that really worked for me. One was the 2 Never Hike Alones, and the other was It's Me Billy, the Black Christmas fan film.
Yeah, it was good.
That one was great. Other than that, I find a lot of fan films with a bunch of people with their friends in their backyard playing dress up while shooting something on their phone while pretending to be John Carpenter.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting behind that.
Did you did you
You
see the
know,
Michael versus Jason fan film?
no, and I don't want to.
No, please. If anything is going to take the Bye Bye Man off that list for me, that's close
Mhm.
to it. The reason it's still worse, Bye Bye Man's still worse, is because Bye Bye Man had a big budget. These are two guys messing around.
Mhm.
It was interesting concept, like Freddy versus Jason, but I don't know. It just they're Australian for one thing, which completely takes you out of it.
Mhm.
Like, uh, we always talk about it, horror fans are passionate about kill counts, right?
Yep.
Us Friday the 13th fans are like, Jason is the undisputed king of slash because he does many bodies.
Mhm.
I had a nice talk with somebody, and it was respectful. It was actually two horror fans who were disagreeing about something and talking rationally,
Mhm.
and it was about the kill counts and how Michael is going to catch Jason. And my argument to that is no, he's not, because there's four separate timelines. Which timeline are you counting?
Yep.
Because you've got 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Then you have 1, 2, HQ and Resurrection. That's the second timeline. You've got Rob Zombies, and don't even get me started on those. Oh my god! And then you have the new timeline.
I
So
don't know. The new timeline should have been 1, 2, and then the 3 new ones. I think they should
yes,
have kept part 2 in there, but
yes, 100%.
yeah. But
I
nonetheless, whatever, Um, yeah, we should close off here shortly because
yeah,
I got 2 buildings I still got to clean tonight.
right, right.
And
And it's 2 a.m. here.
is it? Oh, gee, yeah, you're ahead of me. It's 10
Yeah,
p.m. here. You're ahead of
yeah,
me. Well, you know what? I appreciate you reaching out. I know there's a lot of big name like genre people involved with this film,
mhm,
but I wanted to give a voice to some of the people that haven't got to give a voice, you
yeah,
know? And so I wanted to, give attention. And a lot of this also came off with the Larry Zerner thing too. Like I wasn't good enough, and like, okay. But I'm not gonna play that off, not good enough.
yeah,
Your name is in the credits. You're part of the film. You can
yeah.
be proud of that, own it.
I do, and
Yeah.
I'm proud to be also. I've talked a lot with Adam Marcus, and I'm part of the promotion crew on Hearts of Darkness as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm involved with that one too as an
Yeah,
associate producer. Yep.
and
And
I can't wait to watch it.
hmm yep.
Uh,
Anything else you want to promote? You got a web page or charities or anything like that you want to plug on here before we close off?
there's a couple of charities I'm going to be doing some gaming stream for in the very near future. There's
Hmm.
an Irish charity in particular.
Hmm.
Um, so as I said, I lost family members there in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
My sister passed away and she lived in England, and there's a lot of red tape in that, bringing the body from one country to another to have her buried. There's an Irish charity called the Kevin Bell Reparation Trust,
Hmm.
and they help people do that. They were brilliant to us at the time when we needed them most.
Hmm.
So I'll be doing a 24-hour live stream of mostly Friday the 13th, the game.
Hmm.
I'll throw in a little bit Dead by Daylight as well, because, well, it's horror.
How about Bye
Um,
Bye Man?
Again, I see that's just punishment for me. Like, the ice bucket challenge used to be for ALS.
Hmm.
I would rather do the Titanic challenge. I'd rather go on that fucking boat than watch that movie again. Oh, I've honestly been racking my brains here. This again, trying to think of a movie that's worse than that.
Well, don't
And
rack your brain. I gotta go to work and you gotta go
Yeah.
to sleep. Let's not whack our brains over
Yeah.
bye man. What's your other
Um,
charity?
it is Macmillan Nurses. They support families with cancer treatment stuff. They help look after people at the end of life care.
Okay.
So they help look after my mom.
All right.
But one thing I like to say, horror is a great equalizer. No matter how bad a time you're going through, you can set one of those on. The Friday the 13th for me, I can't count how many times I've watched them all. I've probably seen them as many times as the fanboy himself.
I've seen some more than others.
Yeah, I've even watched the shitty ones.
I can count how many times I watched Jason X on one hand.
I can't. I've watched it maybe 20 times.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a mood to watch a Friday the 13th movie, I'm probably going to go Tommy Jarvis trilogy.
If I'm gonna watch one, I'm either go Jason Lives or the final chapter. When I was in Toronto, they were playing a bunch of them on TV there, and they had a bunch of them on there. I watched two of them, the final chapter and Jason Lives. I can't just pick that. I probably do it with part two, but I have issues with a lot of them. That's the thing. Like part three, I love Tracy Savage. I think she should have been the final girl.
Yes.
I don't know why they wrote her as pregnant and did kind of like an afterthought. I think there was an opportunity there. Part
and
one,
part eight, Robertson should have been chucked overboard.
Part one, I take issue with the fact they killed a live snake to do a scene, which shows me what an incompetent filmmaker Sean Cunningham is.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Cannibal Holocaust territory there. I don't know, and I've already went into like part 5 and part 7, and and to me too, Jason Goes to Hell. Like I know Adam Marcus had problems with Carrie Keegan. I would have, who was supposed to play that part, but Sean Cunningham thought she was too pretty.
No.
Laurie Holden from The Walking Dead.
That would have been perfect casting.
It would have been. That's who Adam Marcus wanted. So instead, Sean, being confident that he is, brought in Carrie Keegan, who was nothing but trouble to Adam Marcus from day one on that set.
Apparently, he's one of his least favorite people to work with. The other one is one of the Batman actors,
Val Kilmer.
Yes.
But I mean, I would have liked to have seen Allison Smith be the survivor of Jason Goes to Hell. I liked her a lot more.
Yeah, she was brilliant. Even Rusty Schwimmer.
Yeah.
She was hilarious.
I'm not sure what kind of final girl she would have been, but yeah, that probably been fun.
Yeah. But again, Adam Marcus, brilliant concept, brilliant idea, because he had so many limitations thrust on him by Sean.
And he ties it in with Evil Dead and Creepshow, and
yeah,
so anyway.
And Friday and Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that Kane has now played 3 of the big icons. Leatherface. Oh, did you read that Stephen King wants to do a Friday the 13th book?
Oh, I'd love to see him do it.
Yeah. I'd love to see him do it. Prime Stephen King do it when he was on everything under the sun.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to close off because I have got, like I said, 2 Canada Post here that I got to clean, and then I got to be up at 8 o'clock to meet somebody to clean windows. Okay. And but I was happy to have you come on here today, or tonight, I should say, and I wanted to give some other folks from from 13 Fanboy a voice. And I was happy to have you on here, and we even got sidetracked and talked some wrestling, and I'll keep that in here as well. Everything. We talked everything.
It's been my absolute pleasure being on this, and hopefully I'll be on again someday.
Absolutely, absolutely.
See you in the sequel.
All right, you take it easy, man.
You too. And I.
Yep, bye
Bye.
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 Yep.
Bye.